Patriots, let's get into some more detail in terms of exactly what we are going to be protesting for on Saturday, September 13th, noon on Parliament Hill. Our top issue, the top Take Canada Back issue, is zero immigration. Zero immigration for at least the next 5 years. I don't need to walk you guys through. I know you're already on my side, but statistic after statistic after statistic tells us how detrimental this unlimited mass immigration, 8 million people into the country in a decade, another 1.5 between temporary and permanent workers targeted for 2025. We're already going well over our targets of refugee claimants for the year 2025, targeted to be 290,000. This is destroying the Canadian way of life. Whether you want to look at jobs market data, whether you want to look at housing data, whether you want to look at our healthcare system, Canada literally does not have the infrastructure to continue to allow 1.5 million immigrants into the country a year. I know this is not an issue that affects Mark Carney and his ilk, but for middle and lower class Canadians, this past decade has been a disaster. Just a couple of statistics. Our youth unemployment rate is as high as it's been since the 60s. Since the 60s, it's 14.6% right now. That's largely due to the temporary foreign worker program. Right now, we are targeting building 220,000 houses in the year 2025. That's what the Liberal government says their target is. You know that in all likelihood, it's going to wind up below that target. Meanwhile, we're bringing in 1.5 million people, and we already have a housing crisis where rental and housing costs are astronomical in this country. I don't need to cite any statistics. Everybody who lives in this country knows how goddamn expensive it is. Since 2015 under Justin Trudeau and continuing under Mark Carney, both rental and housing prices in the country of Canada have absolutely skyrocketed. And every unbiased analysis points to the fact that it is due to our unfettered immigration system, allowing 1.2 million people in 2021, 1.3 million people in 2022, 1.5 million people in 2024. This is the primary cause for the housing, the unaffordability, people not being able to house their families in Canada. Now let's go to healthcare. Most estimates say that between 70 and 80,000 Canadians die needlessly every year because our healthcare system is overrun. Currently, across Canada, the average wait time if you arrive at an ER is between 12 and 14 hours. It on average takes 27.7 weeks in Canada to see a specialist. I personally know 2 people that passed away because our healthcare system is so incompetent, so behind. We don't have enough doctors. 5 and 6 people coming into this country are designated as low-skilled workers. They're selling you a totally false bill of goods when the claim is made that, oh, we're bringing in doctors, we're bringing in engineers. Not only do Canadians know that's not the case based on what we see on the streets every day, but the statistics don't back it up. The Canadian government can't even hide it. Only 1 in 6 immigrants who arrive to this country are considered high-skilled workers. This is the number one issue affecting Canada. What has gone on, the immigration policy in this country is literally unprecedented. What has happened in the past decade has never happened before. The closest historical parallels to Canada's insane, absolutely insane immigration policies, there are 3 countries that have come somewhat close in history to the 20% population growth that we have seen in the past 11 years. Over 26% of Canadians are now first-generation immigrants, not to mention anything about the cultural effects here. They are, the 3 examples are Rome in 3 AD, Argentina in 1950, Buenos Aires, and Lebanon in the 1940s. All 3 of these countries that saw in about a decade, a 20% increase in immigration ended in civil war. So our government is intentionally steering us into the iceberg. That's exactly what they're doing with this immigration. They cannot be so incompetent to not be aware that what their policies are doing are literally going to wreak havoc on this country. Now, I don't know exactly what their motivation is. I'm fairly certain that Brookfield owning 37 billion with a B dollars worth of real estate in Canada has something to do with it. I know the fat cats are doing extremely well with this mass immigration, but they are driving us into an iceberg for the benefit of an incredibly small so-called elitist, not elite, because they certainly are not elite. They are elitist. Mark Carney, you see the guy get in front of a camera. He claims to be this incredibly high IQ guy, a master manager who was the governor of Bank of Canada, Bank of England, has spent his entire adult career in service of the elites at the WF, Davos, and Brookfield Asset Management. But my God, I don't know. The guy cannot get in front of a camera without every third syllable coming out of his mouth being, something very creepy, very eerie about that guy. You can tell he has malevolence written all over him, really not comfortable with this man running our country. Like I said, we don't know exactly why the Liberal Party, we know there are several variables leading the Liberal Party to sink this ship that is once beautiful Canada by unlimited mass immigration, but we need to stand up and we need to say no right now. We don't have more time in Canada. The time is now. We have to a total halt on immigration for the next 5 years while we figure out what the hell we're going to do to make Canada a more livable society. We have the second largest landmass in the world, only 32 million people in 2015, incredible natural resources. We're set up so well. And somehow the Liberals look at this perfect setup and say, we're doing everything we can to bungle it. The government's primary responsibility is look after the citizens that elected them, which is us. So we need to stand together. Saturday, September 13th, Take Canada Back rally. I'm going to be rolling through what our issues are going to be in this upcoming 10 days. Our primary issue, zero immigration for the next 5 years. Please spread this message far and wide. I want to get tens of thousands of patriotic Canadians out. Like, share, join, become a member if you want to help mold this movement off the ground. If you're watching on TikTok, I'm over 12,000 followers now, and the Canadian government doesn't like dissidents, so make sure you're following on YouTube. Saturday, September 13th, noon, Parliament Hill. Take Canada Back. Canadian patriots are hitting the streets and making our voices heard.